Imagine walking into a house where every shadow feels alive, where every sound feels personal, and where leaving isn't just impossible, it's forbidden. Willow Creek wasn't just a house. It was a trap, a black hole where light, hope, and sanity disappeared. The house had been abandoned for decades, its windows boarded up, its walls rotting with secrets. But locals swore they saw movement inside, glimpses of figures in the upstairs windows, faint whispers in the wind. The stories alone kept everyone far, far away. Until one night, a group of 6 friends decided to break in. They thought they'd be in and out by midnight, laughing at the ghost stories. They didn't realize they were about to become the story. It started as a drunken bet during a bonfire on a crisp October evening. Jason, the ringleader, leaned in close to the group. "No one has the guts to step into Willow Creek," he sneered. Megan rolled her eyes. "It's just an old house. What's the worst that can happen?" Her boyfriend, Luke, chimed in. "People said the same about that guy who went missing last year." "Missing?" Sarah asked nervously. Jason grinned. "Eddie. Remember him? Thought it'd be fun to spend the night there." They found his backpack in the basement weeks later, but no Eddie. Just blood. Despite their nerves, peer pressure won. Armed with flashlights, they headed to the house, their laughter masking the tension. The wind howled through the trees, carrying with it a faint, eerie hum. Willow Creek stood in eerie silence, its blackened roof sagging under years of decay. The group hesitated at the gate, but Jason shoved it open, the rusty hinges groaning like a warning. As they crossed the overgrown lawn, Megan noticed something odd. There were no animal sounds. No crickets, no owls. Just silence. "Let's just get this over with," Sarah muttered. Jason kicked the front door, and it creaked open with a sound that made their stomachs turn. The air inside was cold and damp, smelling of mildew and something metallic. "Smells like something died in here," Luke joked, but no one laughed. The flashlight beams danced across the peeling wallpaper and the warped floorboards. The living room was strewn with broken furniture and shattered glass. "Did you hear that?" Megan whispered. "What?" Jason snapped. "That tapping." They froze. From the ceiling above came a slow, deliberate tap tap tap, like fingernails against wood. "Probably just the wind," Jason said, though his voice wavered. As they moved deeper into the house, Megan stopped suddenly. "Wait," she said. "Wasn't there a mirror here?" The others turned. She was right, a large, ornate mirror hung crookedly on the wall. The problem was, their reflections weren't moving. "Okay, that's creepy," Sarah said, backing away from the mirror. Jason laughed nervously. "Old glass does that sometimes. Distorts the image or something." But as they turned to leave, the reflections moved. Not in sync, but deliberately. Sarah's reflection smiled, though she wasn't smiling. Suddenly, the mirror cracked, and the room plunged into darkness. "Get the flashlight," Luke yelled. Megan's flashlight flickered to life, and they saw it, shadows pooling on the walls, stretching unnaturally, growing claws, eyes. "Run!" Jason screamed. They sprinted for the front door, but it wouldn't budge. The windows were sealed too. Jason rammed his shoulder into the door until his skin bruised, but it didn't move an inch. Luke turned, his face pale. "The house doesn't want us to leave." "Shut up!" Jason yelled, panic rising. A low, guttural voice echoed through the hallway, "Stay with me." The voice seemed to come from below. Against their better judgment, they followed it, descending the rickety stairs into the basement. The room was ice cold, filled with old tools, chains, and a single chair in the center. On the floor were deep scratches, as if someone, or something, had been dragged. "What is this place?" Sarah whispered. Before anyone could answer, the basement door slammed shut, and a blood-curdling scream filled the air. The shadows in the basement twisted together, forming a figure. Its face was obscured, but its glowing white eyes burned into their souls. Who are you?" Megan stammered. The entity stepped forward, its voice a mix of growls and whispers. "I was the first. And now, you'll be next." Jason swung a flashlight at it, but it passed through as if hitting smoke. "Don't fight it," the entity hissed. "It only makes it worse." One by one, the group was separated, dragged into their own personal horrors. Megan found herself trapped in a hall of mirrors, each reflection showing her aging rapidly until she was nothing but a skeleton. Jason was chained to the chair, forced to watch a shadowy version of himself torture his friends. Luke wandered endlessly through a forest of dead trees, hearing Megan's screams but never finding her. Sarah faced the entity itself, which whispered secrets about her life she'd never told anyone. Somehow, they reunited in the main hallway. The entity loomed above them, more solid now, its claws dripping with blood. "You can't leave," it snarled. "You're mine." Megan remembered the old legend she'd heard, the house feeds on fear. But what happens if you don't give it what it wants? "Don't be afraid," she yelled. The others hesitated but followed her lead, standing firm as the entity lunged. It screamed in frustration, its form flickering like a dying flame. The front door burst open, and daylight streamed in. They ran, never looking back. When they finally reached the safety of the woods, they turned to see Willow Creek standing silently. But in the upstairs window, they saw a figure staring back at them. "I told you," Jason said breathlessly. "The house never lets go." Willow Creek became the story they never told anyone. But late at night, when the wind howled, they could swear they heard the house calling their names. If you enjoyed this story, hit subscribe for more spine-chilling tales. And remember, some places are haunted for a reason.